We would like to welcome you to the American Football Show. I'm Giff, and I'm here with my co-host Lawson. And we would like to kick off this first episode by talking about the free agency, and we are really excited about what's going on around the league. I would just like to start by talking about, I'm a Bills fan, so just so everyone knows, and Lawson's a Vikings fan.
Yeah, so we've seen plenty of pain.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely did. So I just want to talk about Stevie Johnson resigning in Buffalo. I think it's going to be really good for the Bills to have Stevie Johnson on their roster. And after a while watching the Bills, I have to say, seeing Stevie with the Bills, the way it went down and rubbing Buddy Nick's shoulders, I have to say, very uncharacteristic of the Bills. But I was glad to see it, though, because, I'm glad to see somebody with character like Stevie Johnson in Buffalo who's going to actually, express his opinion and not, just sit in the corner and be quiet, and try to help a team that, right now does need some help.
Well, that's why I was surprised about the whole Steve Johnson re-signing with the Bills. I mean, Giff, off the record, even before free agency started, was giving the Bills, maybe a 30-40% chance. I thought he was definitely going to San Fran or definitely out to the West Coast. I could see him in a San Diego uniform. And I'm just surprised how the Bills approach football as an organization. As Giff said, they shy away from the big stars. That's why I was most surprised about it.
And that's why I'm so, surprised that they signed him, because I wasn't expecting it. I was definitely expecting him to go somewhere else because it's just not characteristic. And I'm a Bills fan. I love the Bills, but it's just very uncharacteristic of them to do something like that. So I was really happy to see that.
Yeah. Biggest thing about that, though, which surprised me, was Giff brought up Buddy Nix. When was the last time we seen the Bills get a legit superstar or a player with other endeavors besides playing football and doing what he's told? That was my. And we saw how it went with Steve Johnson last year in Changeli. I don't think that situation's near close to being over. Because let's be real, I defended Steve Johnson about the celebration penalties, and I wasn't for him getting benched. But Changeli said if it happened again, he was getting benched, and he got benched. So we'll see what happens with that.
Well, yeah, and the thing is now, that's a whole other story. That we're gonna have to see how that plays out with Stevie and Chan. But seeing the Bills come after Mario Williams now.
Oh, well.
After just doing this with Stevie, it's kind of, to me, it's uncharacteristic of them.
Very uncharacteristic of this franchise.
And the reason why is just because, they usually just don't bring in players like that.
Well, when was the last time we had a marquee free agent come to Buffalo? And don't say Sean Merriman.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, don't say Terrell Owens.
Oh,
but yeah.
Dude, we love T.O. I love T.O., one of my favorite players in this game. But yeah, that wasn't done for winning. We both know it was done to put people in the seats. And we're guilty of attending Bills games, so, it is what it is, money.
And, speaking of money, Mario Williams, he's going to demand a lot of money. Now, they're saying the Bills are ready to pay him the most of anyone else in the league. I believe that, but is the deal going to get done? I really don't know.
Well, what we've been hearing, okay, is I've heard around rumors of 45 to 50 million guaranteed. I've heard this is going to break Hainsworth's record as highest defensive paid player in league history. So we're talking some money here.
A lot of money, I believe, but the thing I want to talk about this, though, is it worth the money?
Well, that's a good question. We're not hearing a lot of that done because of Bill's desperation at this point.
I'm not going to hate on Mario Williams. I would like to see him in a Bills uniform as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
But I look back on his progressions through the league. He was hurt all of last year.
Yes.
I believe only 3 seasons with multiple sack seasons, his best being 12.5 or 13 sacks, I believe. He's, to me, I don't know if he's worth the money, but the Bills, that was their first choice this free agency, so we'll have to see how that plays out. He hasn't signed yet. He did his physical, and that's where they're at now, so we just have to see how it plays out.
Well, where they're at right now is first day of free agency, Bills picked Mario Williams up in a private jet along with Robert Meacham. We already saw them lose out on Robert Meacham. So we'll see what happens with Mario Williams. From a football perspective, I'm very happy about it, but I'm always risky of players with injury histories, especially if we're talking $50 million guaranteed.
And that is the point of this all, is if he's worth that money. I mean, other teams were in the running for him, but the Bills are the second team in the league right now with the most cap room to spend.
Yep.
And they're willing to put down the money for him. So, but my whole question about it is he going to be worth it if he signs with Buffalo? It's a question that many fans probably are asking. I mean, they lost out on Vincent Jackson, which nobody really had a shot at. Tampa really, went out for him, and that was their guy this year. But
5 years, $55 million for Vincent Jackson isn't that bad a price in my opinion, though. Although I've never been a huge Vincent Jackson guy. You gotta like that contract from the Bucs' perspective. I don't feel like they overpaid, and they're doing their business wisely. They brought in Nix, who's a Pro Bowler from New Orleans, at the guard position. That should really bolster their offense, and they need to see what Josh Freeman is, or they're gonna have to cut bait.
Yeah, I mean, and really for Josh Freeman, I mean, okay, not the most weapons there, but
no.
I think it's a legit shot. I mean, they're getting Vincent Jackson for him. I mean, this will show if he can throw the ball or not. But really, I mean, overall, I mean, it's a great deal. It's a win-win for both sides.
Okay, so let me ask you a hypothetical. Okay, if you could get Mario Williams, which personally, I think he's using the Bills as leverage in other contracts elsewhere. But hypothetically, would you take Mario Williams at around a 5 or 6 year deal with $50 million guaranteed? Would you do that from a football perspective?
Oh, of course. That'd be more than worth it. And maybe he is using the Bills as leverage in a way, because maybe he wants to play for a contender and he's using it as leverage. Maybe 60 mil, maybe he only wants 50, 60 mil, and he's willing to play for a contender for that price, and he doesn't want to be the highest paid. Maybe he is looking for a ring and more. So, I mean, that is possible. I mean, it's very possible. I mean, for a team like the Bills to be able to throw that much money around and not get the deal done in one night, it does actually make me scratch my head and think about it a little bit.
Yeah, and like we were told the deal would be done at midnight tonight, and it's 2:00 the next day. We still haven't heard about a deal, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll have to keep watch on Mario Williams to see what happens there. I mean, it may not be over by this Friday. We'll see what happens. Now we have to move on to another favorite player of mine. I was hoping he wouldn't retire, and Randy Moss.
Yes, Randy Moss. He's a god, in my opinion.
He is one of the best receivers to ever play the game, in my opinion, as well. And he's with the San Francisco 49ers right now, and I think personally it's a really, really, really good fit. Not to take anything away from Minnesota, who is Lawson's team, or Tennessee, who had him, but if you look at Randy Moss's track record, I mean, he does well when he's comfortable. Mm-hmm. And the 1 year with Belichick was no fluke. I mean, the year Brady threw 50 touchdowns, I mean, it was absolutely no fluke. I mean, he used Randy Moss to his ability. He got him open. And then the following year I felt, they needed to use Randy in different ways to benefit the team. Randy didn't like it, and, that's how that, it didn't work out for them there, and Randy moved on. But now with another smart coach, in my opinion, and in my opinion, Jim Harbaugh is one of the best coaches, in my opinion, that I've seen in a long time. I just from last season, I'd have to put him up there with Bill Belichick and stuff, just as far as play calling goes and just smartness. I mean, obviously he doesn't have the credentials, but what I've seen from him, though, last year, I mean, he had people running wide open for Alex Smith. So I think if he's comfortable with Randy and Randy's comfortable with them and he can get him open in plays, I think it'll be fine. I don't think Alex Smith will panic. I think it'll be a good fit personally. I think Randy will be comfortable there.
Okay, here's how I feel about it. First,